Today is May 14th, 2026. Again today. I played different videos in the car. So people driving around where they saw the login, they can hear how horrible this is. One of those scenarios where that agent that told on me for calling the FBI, that bullied me on the phone, made me beg for my life, listed me informant, then threatened me if I told. Within a few months, he was no longer with the FBI. The case is a case that cannot be closed until the FBI puts me in another witness protection program. Okay. One of their scenarios was that agent quit the FBI to join the opposing team. That is a federal crime of 2 to 10 years. Without stealing the government money, trying to steal my informant money, trying to help them get away with it. These are all like 10 or more year sentences. That's how not funny this is. Someone needs to arrest him. None of this is funny. I had found a document from Cleveland Clinic where I had an MRI on my legs back in 2001. It shows a fluid-filled cyst beside my knee, slight tear in my knee. Told you my knee kept popping out of place. And swelling in my legs. And it says a patient is unable to bend her knee. Now, I want you to think about how not funny this is. I want you to think about this. I lived through hell. It took me 9 months to learn to walk again. 9 months. I have degenerative joint disease in my knees. One of the treatments for it is, when it gets advanced, put braces on your knees. And then like they said, it is achievable, but very difficult to learn to walk again, especially if there's swelling. It took me 9 months, where I had endometriosis. I didn't know it. One day I doubled over screaming. Dave rushed me to the hospital. They did an emergency appendectomy. I have a 5-inch scar. Said it didn't look bad, but the way she screamed, I took it out for safety. Well, a few months later, I'm screaming again. I have, no, I don't just have one cyst. I'm full of them. Full of them. Okay? They're popping inside me. They had to go through my belly button and around it several times. There was one time they were popping so bad I was bleeding in my stomach. And they said if I wouldn't have been in the hospital, I would have died. Okay? It got so bad I had a lower hysterectomy. A few months later, I was screaming again. And here I have a golf ball size cyst in one ovary. And the other one has little ones that are popping. They said that big one pops, you're dead. They cut me side to side, took my ovaries out. With all in between, before they started doing the hysterectomy, they tried burning treatments and medication caused kidney stones, and I'm getting stents put in and out of my kidneys. Okay, my gallbladder went bad. I had my gallbladder removed. I had scar tissue forming a ball, and I had to have that removed. Okay, one day I start bleeding really heavy. I go in the hospital, and one of those kidney stones came to my kidney tube. It was a kidney bleeding. They had a 5-inch scar on my back. They had to take out the damaged part and repair my kidney. And my muscles are cringing. At that point, they locked. They literally locked. I couldn't hardly sit up. Muscle spasms so bad they would raise up and blood vessels would break and they'd run down my stomach. And it's excruciating. And they're already tight and you felt like you couldn't breathe and you're in so much pain. And then when they'd spasm tighter, and those blood vessels, I got red freckles on my stomach and legs. I was in so much pain. I went to a bunch of crackpots trying to get relief from the pain. They gave me a medication. My feet started swelling. I said, is it a medication? No. You have underlying conditions. No, I didn't. My muscles clenched from the surgery. It was basic. Started to give false diagnoses, give me more medicine, more things are going wrong. I'm swelling huge. I ended up having seizures, heart attacks, thyroid, adrenal gland shutdown. I have I went from 105 pounds to 275 in 2 years. My feet are over an inch big. My legs are so swollen, they're popping out of place. I had an MRI report. Showed a fluid-filled cyst beside my knee and a slight tear in my knee where my legs were popping out and I would fall. It even, as they were so swollen, it even says patient can't bend knee. I went to an orthopedic surgeon. He said you have degenerative joint disease. We found it on the MRI. He said, I can't do just a basic knee replacements because if that arthritis would even spread into regular bones, the screws and stuff could break your legs and you won't ever be able to walk again. The easiest and the safest way to fix it is to put braces on your legs that'll hold your knees together. He said, and they were big 3-pound braces each, 2 or 3 pound braces, above my knee, below my knee, and they held my knees in place. He said, and he wanted to give me a walker, and I didn't want a walker. Canes made me feel like I was walking. He said, as long as you don't fall with them, otherwise you're using a walker. He said, until you can rebuild up the tendons around your knees. He said, and I'll keep draining them. He said to hold your knees in place. You'll always have to walk, exercise, or if the muscles degrade again, your knees will pop out of place from the degenerative joint disease. Okay? And he said that's the easiest and the safest way to fix this. But you got to exercise. You got to rebuild up all those muscles and tendons so you can learn to walk again. Because when I try to walk, I'd fall because the massive swelling would push my knees out of place. I would go in and he would drain out turkey-based syringes full of fluid out from underneath my knee and put steroids in it. Okay? Well, those crackpot doctors that I was going to, they were lying so bad. They even told me I had level 2 brain tumors. I had pituitary tumors, and they wanted to remove my pituitary gland. Before I let them cut into my brain, I went to my community health. They went, whoa, those doctors are known for lying, falsely diagnosing people, ripping them off, making them sick, getting kickbacks from drug companies, and keeping you so sick so they keep coming back. There's nothing wrong with you, but your muscles locked up. It's medication making you sick. You get off the medication, you'll be fine. They encouraged me and Dave to sue him for years. They'd represent me in court. And is documented fraud, medical malpractice, and medication errors. Okay? I went to Dr. Eli. He agreed. He's a medicine donor. He said when muscles are clenched, the only way to get them to unclench is to move. He said, and you're in so much pain you can't move. He said, I got to get you out of pain as you to move. And once you start moving, blood flow will get pushed into those locked muscles. And as they get pushed into it, they'll relax. And then you can build new muscle tissue and you'll be fine. He said, I had a lady not quite as bad as you. And I have her running on a treadmill in 9 months. He said it worked for her. I just had to get her out enough pain to move. That's what pain medicine was made for. Fentanyl is 100 times stronger than morphine. Okay? I started in September, October of 2002 with Dr. Eli. First month, I lost 30 pounds. Second month, I'm pulling myself around stores and malls. Ended up in so much pain, I ended up in the hospital. Third month, seizures, heart attacks, gone. thyroid, adrenal glands working again. It's all chemically shut down. If I would have sued them, I would have been a millionaire. And they'd still be sitting their asses in jail for attempted murder. Medical malpractice. Okay? Okay. I would pull myself up and down streets, stores, malls. I could drive my own car, did my own grocery shopping. I would practice walking at home without the braces. I'd take a step and fall on my ass. Take another step, fall on my face. Crawl over to the couch, stand back up. Sit on the couch for a minute. Stabilize my leg and try it again. And my mom was so proud of me. Here I'm 30 years old trying to learn to walk again as a toddler. It was horrifying. And she said, Karen, you made it 6 steps today. You made it 5. And I'd have tears rolling down my face. And I told her, shut up. And here she's trying to root me on. And all I could see is I couldn't walk. And I'd cry. And it was horrible. And it was hard. And it was long. It took me 9 months. I went from a size 24 in 2002. By April, I'm almost well. Dr. Eli is mad. He's like, my other patient was already dead. I had all that massive swelling. My feet were over an inch thick. My legs were 3 times bigger. My feet are normally a 7, 7.5 shoe. I was wearing an 8.5, 9 wide. My feet were this thick. Walking on numb feet. Falling and knees sliding out of place from the massive fluid. Seen on an MRI. And one doctor said, you know, it's almost like you need dialysis. Your kidneys are still working, but I can't keep up with the fluid. I had pneumonia several times. They literally almost killed me. If I would have sued them, I would have been a millionaire and they'd still be in jail. That's why sometimes when I'm walking Altman Hospital, that's the one the hospital made a lot of mistakes. They're grateful she never sued anyone. They may get shut down from these idiot doctors participating in a hate crime that know better than to ever involve themselves in such foolishness. Okay? By April, I'm almost well. Even that family that admitted that they lied to the FBI on March 27th, 25, they were rooting me on. I was standing by the back door. I went from a 24 to a 16. Okay? I was watching my son Danny and their son Tyler outside playing. I can still see him playing. Pulling a big, long fruit roll about. And they walk up, Sister Karen, it's so good to see you at church. Look how much weight you've lost. Okay? He said, they said, you're going to beat this. I said, well, they talk about remission. It can't happen fast enough. We see you out driving your own car, doing your own grocery shopping, driving up and pulling yourself up and down streets and stores and malls. You're going to beat this on your own. I said, it can't happen fast enough. May 3rd, 2003, we're all at home. Dave was replacing carpets in our house. Kept the guys home from the baseball game. Okay? Brian Laney shows up. He said, I hate to tell you this, Phil and Tyler are dead. I said, they're dead. That day I wore my braces around the house because I was going up and down the stairs and I didn't want to fall. And by then I could waddle and like try to grab a hold of walls, trying to learn balance. You don't walk for a long time because your legs give out from underneath you. It takes a long time to learn balance. It even says that with degenerative joint disease, you have to learn balance. Okay? Said, where that church baseball game, everybody was running late. A lot of people were running late. He was one of the lead cars. He was speeding so fast. He didn't even try to stop. Everybody said they couldn't believe he didn't even try to stop for a stop sign. Blew right through it, and it was like an explosion. They said he was ripped in pieces immediately, and Tyler was ejected through the air and slammed on the pavement. They were both dead instantly. John grabbed his phone, ran out to his car. I waddled down the steps, and I'm waddling down the driveway with my braces on. Don't fall, walking like a penguin. Made it to the car. I said, "Are you okay?" He said, "Mom, they're really dead." I said, "You're kidding." I said, "Are you okay?" He said, "Yeah, I want to talk to my friends." And Brian seen me outside waddling with my braces in May. June of 2003, I got my fentanyl patches redone. I didn't get well all the way till July. I still fell for a few months. We were out at Macy's one day, and I lost balance and I fell into a wreck. I was so embarrassed. Okay. Took me a while to get off the fentanyl patches. It was a long road, and it was something a year before that. Here I'm swelled up, having heart attack, seizures. I'm dying. And within a year, I'm fine. It took me a long road of getting well. In November of 2003, my sister is married to that occult leader's son Tim. She had been out in like 2000, 2001, found him out with this girl, Katie. And she started following him. They're cheating. And had my mom follow him, my sister Lori follow him. They're cheating. We're waiting for her to say something. She's not. And she knows they're cheating. And they've been cheating for a while. And everybody's like, "Why don't she say something?" Then they're like, "Well, she hasn't worked in over 20 years. Maybe she don't think she can support herself." Nobody wants to put her in a place she can't handle. She knows her husband's cheating. It's none of our business then. So we sort of avoided that family, and then otherwise acted stupid like we didn't know anything. And we had to put up with Linda crying. And then when we seen them act like we didn't know anything, she wouldn't leave him. But she knows he's cheating, and she wants to live in that kind of relationship. That's her own fault. But it's her decision, not ours. Can't put her in a place she can't handle. In November of 2003, she came up to me at church. I was following again. I got caught. "I think they thought it was you. I'm sorry. Be careful." I'm like, "Great. He's going to scream at me. Now how am I going to tell him that it's Linda following him and she knows they're cheating without telling on her?" No, he took my son and pushed him to suicide and made up that lie, called me a baker. The whole thing was like 4 or 5 years. Okay? And I would have sued those doctors, but that minister pushed Danny to suicide. He was 14. That next Sunday, I stayed home. I had a migraine headache. Josh stayed home. Danny came in from church. "You're not my mother. I don't have to listen to you." He's 14. It's like, you're grounded. He screams a bunch of crazy crap and runs out. Josh walks in the room. "What on earth is wrong with Danny?" "I don't know." Go over to his girlfriend, Heather Mendez. Her mother, Joy, is there. Her sister, Brasilia. Said Danny had been thinking about killing himself. He said, "Kill himself?" "Yeah, he wants, that minister wants him to help destroy people in the church, and he said he'd rather kill himself." That's my baby. He's 14. I'm driving up around streets looking for him. I see that minister's car at that church. I said, "Josh, I don't want him to know Danny's acting out till I find out what on earth is going on." I have him wait out in the car. I step in. He pins me to my face. To the door, "Confess you were never sick." That was a 4 or 5 year ordeal. Dave already told him it was the medication making me sick. My mom already told everybody at church. And they thought they put me on morphine. Here they put me on fentanyl. And my mom had already been telling people I've been walking 6-10 steps, practicing at home for a long time. Okay? I said I would never do that. I mean, dear God, it's been 4 or 5 years. Took me almost a year to learn to walk again. He said, you're a spoiled little brat. Nobody likes in this church. He said, you're Satan and just the sight of you would hurt the church's children. I am not that ugly. He said, get off my property, you'll be lucky to see your kid again. And he pushes me out, and I got a big red mark right here on my face. Josh is like, I said, take me up to Dad. He's at Pizza Hut. He didn't always have these big jobs. It was his second job, delivering. I went up there. I said he took Danny, and he's talking crazy. He said, I'll clock out, go home, and we'll go over and find out what on earth is wrong with Danny. I go home, I call my mom. She calls over there, you better give Danny back. He said, we'll give him back when we're done. She said, you can't just take somebody's kid. And they got into such a screaming match. She said, I'll never go to your church again. Dave comes home. I said, where's Danny? He said, Strange said he'll give him back when he's done and you're never allowed to go to church again. I said, why? He says you're Satan and just the sight of you would hurt the church's children. Don't look at me, and screams at me and runs out. And Michelle Kagi comes over from next door. She said, Karen, what on earth is going on? And I'm crying. Josh is crying. We go over and sit on the front porch. Jerry walks out and said, I'd rip that door off that church and get my kid back. My mom calls me. I walk off. Dave comes home. I said, where's Danny? Strange said he'll give him back when he's done and you're never to go to church again. That you're Satan and just the sight of you would hurt the church's children. All because Linda was following Tim and Katie. I got Danny home that night. He's shaking like this. His whole body was shaking. I'm sorry, Mom. He lied. Next morning, I hear the car start up. I look outside. It's Danny. He's 14. I go running down the steps. I'm running down the street, and there used to be big trees in Lenox. He's aiming for one. And as I'm screaming, he falls over sideways. Well, actually, this way. Not forward, not back, sideways. And by the grace of God, he missed everything and rolled to a stop. And he's passed out in the front. Until this, I didn't even think of him drugging him. I got down there. I pushed him over, got him home. Josh helped me carry him in. I had to go to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom, went to grab something to drink, and I hear the dirt bike start. There used to be a telephone pole at the end of Lenox. It's Danny. He's racing towards it, and they always drop gravel around it because it would flood. And he's racing towards it, and as I'm screaming, he looks back and he falls over. He got all cut up. I took my kids and went to my sister's. This whole thing is crazy. We get down there, Josh is freaking out. I'm not staying down here with these people. I'll leave you here. I got the keys and I'll leave you. He's 16. I'm not going to let him drive back by himself. I put Danny in the car. We come back. And I had took Danny to the crisis center. And they started nailing my mom's tires. And they had 3-inch tires, stuff till she moved out before Christmas of 2003. Sharp objects. She made a police report in Mount Carmel, Illinois. They said it's a severe call. They would have killed her if she wouldn't have left. I took Danny to the crisis center. He said Strange took him that day. Starved him all day. Screamed at him on the pulpit till he passed out. He didn't remember half the day. And screamed at him until he did what he was told. And that's why he tried to kill himself. The Child and Adolescent Center for the Stark County, Ohio. Georgine Vovusa and Linda, and a Stark County psychiatrist for the Child and Adolescent Center said the same thing. He told them the same thing. That Strange took him that day. Wouldn't let him leave. Starved him all day. Screamed at him on the pulpit till he passed out. and screamed at him until he did what he was told, and that's why he tried to kill himself twice. He was diagnosed with, he became bulimic. He was almost 6 foot tall, got down to 118 pounds, almost had to be hospitalized. I wasn't allowed to leave him alone for over 6 months. By then, our insurance had elapsed. I had to get a full-time job to pay for his counseling, his medication. He had to have a tutor for school. And he told the Georgine Vovuso, Linda at the Starr County Child and Adolescent Center, and a Starr County psychiatrist that Strange took him that day, starving him all day. Wouldn't let him leave. Screamed at him on the pulpit till he passed out, and screamed at him until he did what he was told. He was diagnosed with bulimia. I had to hire babysitters to watch him so I could work, get a full-time job with insurance. My nice, wonderful neighbors and the new people I work with help watch him. I didn't have money to pay him with paying for all that. They said, as long as you have food in your house, as long as we can have somebody while we're there, we don't care. We'll watch your son so you can take care of him. The kindness of others helped me take care of my son when I was in need. He had, I mean, it was bad. Him being on medication, throwing up, passing out, it was horrible. He had post-traumatic syndrome. He was in counseling for 2 years. All because Linda was following Tim and Katie. Now, I want you to think about this. My mom has to move out of state, won't come back to Ohio. 2003, because they were nailing her tires, sharp objects, until she moved out of state. How not funny is this? Now, think 15 years later. I don't even go to their church. I wanted nothing to do with them. In 2010, I started going to Blaylock's. And in 2011, rumors started getting on their crazy ones. I went over to visit there twice. I was scared to death. Gave me nightmares. Didn't go back, hoping somebody would tell why they were making up crazy lies back then. I had nobody's phone number, nobody's address, no contact with them. So when in 2018, I have nothing to do with them. Nothing. Dave had quit his church in 2011. So when I start having attempts on my life, would I thought it was them? No, I had nothing to do with them. We even moved away. I have nothing to do with them. Here, my ex-husband is cheating with where that minister son is cheating with this girl, Katie. My husband is cheating with her family member, Michelle. That's messed up in drugs. And her dad are in debt to drug dealers. And we're a strange hate of the government. The government's evil. It will come in and take your children. They'll brainwash your children. They'll come in and take your guns. You'll have to hide them in pipes in the backyard. Preach his hatred for the government. Or the pulpit. Government he hated. He was going to run a con on them to steal money from them. His son's mistress, her family member that was dating my husband, had her drug friends run a drug scam on me so they could run a drug scam on the FBI. This whole thing was an attack against the FBI. When you realize that. Where September 30th, 25, 1 o'clock in the morning, a biker brought that Michelle down and got a confession where my car is bugged by the FBI. They had to get it under police surveillance. So the guys running this said no one's allowed to say a word to her again in her life, that this whole thing is her family's debt to drug dealers. Is that what's going on? Yes. Does she even know who you are? No, I don't want her to know who I am. She don't even know who you are. You had her skull bashed in, her raped and tortured because your family was in debt to drug dealers? Yes. I listened to her and her friend Matt talk January 13, 23. Said that Ohio drug dealers were threatening that agent's life because they thought he let all those people be human trafficked, and it was your family letting them be human trafficked? Yes. And your family human trafficked people because you were in debt to drug dealers? Yes. I'm sorry. She sold children and she's sorry. It was your family that incited her new husband's family to steal everything and to threaten his life? Yes, but I really wanted that for him. Like, it makes it okay. I listened to September 23, the original cartel already admitted they photoshopped everything. Did you know that? Yes. And they already confronted her ex-husband if the doctors from before were documented fraud, medical malpractice, and medication errors. Did you know that? And they encouraged those to sue those doctors for years? Yes, I knew that. October 11th, 25, down in New Philly, at the KRCA, an older couple was telling this guy, saying, my God, we all knew this whole thing was that family's debt to drug dealers, and we were all helping them, trying to steal money for it. And that Michelle admitted to human trafficking people. You tell everyone not to say a word. We already knew this whole thing was a scam. So January 1926, Henry Muffy comes in to Bob Evans with another guy. They're sitting down. And how he was the one that got a hold of me line after the FBI case started. I had an Instagram account. This guy texted me, I think you're beautiful. It's like, thanks. He said something about love on a beach and something else and something else. I don't know him. Then I go out to stores, people were talking about him, and then people had showed up and said that they were drug dealers and human traffickers there from Florida, and they work for Judge Peters. He's driving around with them. I don't know him. Well, he comes in, he said, I'm the one that got a hold of her online. And I thought, you look like that picture, but thinner, a lot thinner. He said, I prove with those messages she was cheating on her husband. That's not cheating, that's him being a weirdo. I don't know you. He said, I tell all men she's not good enough for another man, and I'm glad I never met her in person. I thought, fuck you, or you wouldn't have got a pity date. How glaze the horse's ass. And he said, I found out that other Michelle is telling on us for what we're actually doing. Well, March 27th, 25, an FBI agent was dating this other Michelle, part of their group. Anna Rouge got it out of her that the doctor from before was not one of mine, works for them, and they had lied he was one of her doctors. She actually don't know who he is, and when they bashed in her head, they tried to kill her, leave her incompetent. It didn't work. He had got it out of Dave that a girlfriend from before me made him marry me so that he could get a job at my dad's factory and she'd have free insurance. Half my medical records are one of Dave's girlfriends. It wasn't random identity theft because back then you didn't have to show ID to go to the doctor. And she just ran up all kinds of medical bills in my name. Half my records are hers. Stuck me with copays for 15 years when Harry Carey had my insurance. It wasn't random, it was intentional. And that he got it all that family that was saying that it offended him when that minister called her a faker 6 months later. Why on earth would you say that? She wasn't even there at that accident. Said, oh, they were all lying in that office to that agent. They were making it up that they were offended. They were just trying to help him get away with it. Didn't even concern him. Lisa's father killed her kid. Okay. So then I told you I kept on set of how many times from March 24th, 25 to the Texas group admitting this thing. It was a whole scam from that guy Will to join them, of the dirty doctor not being one of mine, works for them, and they had lied, and that Michelle's telling on him, telling Lisa to take care of her. They threatened that little girl's life. April 17th, 25, she has a meltdown because that agent broke up with her and how she wanted to marry him and all this other stuff. Carl even heard her how, about the dirty doctor and all this other stuff. And there's big government SUVs taping her that, the whole thing is a lie. and a scam, and that they actually tried to kill me when they bashed in my head. And then May 25th, 25, they left about in Hollisters. Some teenage boys boarded a bill from the Freemasons, run the biggest scam here. I had some guy go in and drug her up, tell her to say that. Photoshopped washing in the shower in the other room, and then ran the scam off of it, who could steal her money. May 26, 25, the other cartel comes in and said that they were tired of Bill from the Freemason and scam of the dirty doctor not being one of hers works for them, and they had lied he was one of her doctors, and the whole thing's a scam. And then the Louisville police got it May 30th, 25. Announced they got it. And then onset, then hypnotic drugs and told to say it from August 4th, 25, August 5th, 25, August 7th, 25, August 31st, 25. Well, December 1st, 25, where that other Michelle was dating an agent, where they threatened her life, she went badass on them. All kinds of investigators. She's been showing up in their offices. I have only seen her. I've never met her. And lady, I am so proud of you. Standing up to these people. December 1st, 25, Walmart 62, an investigator comes in. Michelle showed up at my office and told me this whole thing was a scam to extort money from the government. Her ex-husband was involved. And that the doctor from before was not one of hers, works for them, and they had lied. He was one of her doctors. She actually don't know who he is. And that guy Pete that's running his mouth about her, she doesn't even know who he is. It's just some guy Dave hired on his own. And these people admitted to using hypnotic drugs on her when they drugged her and told her to say it before. And the tape of Weird With Yourself is nothing but photoshopped a washing in the shower in the other room. The whole thing was a scam to extort money from the government. So where that Henry Mafia in January 1926, that other Michelle's telling on us for what we're actually doing, yeah, you're trying to scam the government on money. With your pathetic scam. Yeah, she told on you. Thank you for your confession. And he said, I'm the one that incited his new family to go threaten her new husband, that I would steal everything for them. I found out his son was down there vandalizing stuff on the farm. Told him to stay out of it. I'll steal everything for him. Now, what did that girl said? It's her family, so that's her dad. And he said, I have a judge's friend that'll enter all my tapes in court without her or the FBI. Well, the FBI is busy with Minnesota and turn all the money over to them. And I'll pull a fast one on the FBI and steal all the case's money. Over my dead body, I wrote the president. FBI Internal Affairs were the guy behind it. I even wrote the Department of Justice, the OPR. Or the president again. He's the one frame and loaded. The one with the judge's friend letting him get away with crimes. He's not his friend. He's not letting him get away with crimes. See, that's where these people are so ridiculous. Like yesterday down in Magnolia, I went to the Bell store. Some guys are on the phone. We listened to the recorded line. This whole thing's stupid. He said they were saying they were getting even with her for saying the FBI was involved. On a recorded line, that agent admitted he already had everybody in his office, and he already talked to everybody, and they already knew the FBI was involved. And the way he talked to her, it wasn't even funny. No, it wasn't. See, one of those scenarios is where that agent wasn't there, and within a few months that he quit his job and decided to help them. That is a federal crime of like up to 10 years. And then we can go into obstruction, tampering with witnesses, and then theft out of a government funds. And he's the one trying to help them steal from the government. He can't help them and trying to get his own case thrown out. Now, where that family admitted to an FBI agent that they were all in there lying. what was it, April 20th, 26th? Walmart last task? Or was it March 20th, 26th? So one of those 2 dates. Walmart last task. An investigator from 18. I haven't found one bit of this funny since an FBI agent showed up and said that family admitted to an FBI agent that they were all lying in that office to the FBI. That it never offended them, and that they were making it all up trying to help them get away with this. So, now I want you to think about this. They sound like retards. I can't even be nice about this. Her father murders her kid. Up in Cleveland, like over a year ago, there was a young girl. She was doing 100 miles an hour. Wrecked. She lived and other people died. She's in jail for vehicular homicide. He would have been in jail if he would have lived too. I did a speed ratio. For you to even lose a limb, you have to be doing over 60. For him to be ripped into pieces, he was probably doing close to 100 with her kid in the car. And it to be like an explosion and be catapulted through the air. Reckless. Yeah. I'm not even there. It's 6 months later. Now, they're the ones rooting me on in April. I have been sick and dealing with all this horrible stuff for 4 to 5 years. 2.5 years of surgeries. My muscles locking up. Almost 2 years of crackpots throwing any kind of diagnosis the investigators had wrote the doctors from before as incompetent. They couldn't figure out, they weren't smart enough to figure out that her muscles just clenched. Gave her a bunch of wrong meds and almost killed her. It's a good thing we didn't know about it, all that medical practice back then. See, that's where doctors are stupid to even back any of this. They can go to jail. Lose their license. Now, think of that doctor at My Community Health. On April 9th, 26th, walks out, picks up the phone. I know you like watching her. I think it's funny she thought she was yelling at drug dealers. She was yelling at us. And that rude nurse. Oh, my Lord. Her saying that drug dealers heard her and were coming at her. The FBI was in here making fun of her. And picking up her medical records. Like investigators said, who those idiots get her medical records from. Or give them to. Officer Mark already picked him up in 18, and they said that it's medical malpractice and fraud that almost killed her. So who did they give those idiots give her medical records to? Probably Henry Maupey, Dave's girlfriend's dad. Yeah. And where May 8th, I go back to My Community. That doctor walks in a staff-only room. Now, he was either on that phone with that Henry Maupey or he was in that office. I could hear him out in the hallway saying, I think it's funny that she thinks I ought to show respect when she's here. You should show respect for any patient. We're paying them. And I almost died to save my family in helping the FBI. I have internal injuries. I have a dented in my head. My intestines have large pouching where those drug dealers beat me until I had purple, black, and blue marks as big as orange, grapefruit size, all over my stomach. My rib cage is damaged. My shoulder's damaged. I have a dent in my head. I had to be on bladder spasm medicine for 2 years from being tortured. All helping the FBI trying to get information on these people. Most people win awards. Making fun of a rape victim that was human trafficked and almost murdered is disgusting. Walks in and he said, I think it's funny she thinks I ought to show her respect when she's here. And he said, I didn't know she went, the other guy's like, I didn't know she went to pain management. I found out they bashed her head, and I already told them I'm going to take everything for them, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm going to get her husband away from her, and oh, it was bad. It was horrible listening to what was behind that door. That doctor, if he is not working with the police and the FBI to get information on them for that, he needs arrested. And that guy said, I already have it set up with that other doctor. He said if she tries to have liposuction done, he's to make it look like an accident with a fat embolism or blood embolism and kill her. Oh, I went out to that nice doctor's office. Went over a lot. And how they were breaking and soliciting doctors to kill me. They said it would never happen here. And I went through how they framed me, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Been talking to them little bit by little bit and really went over stuff. That this whole thing's a drug scam. You know, March 1st to 3rd of 21, they said they put 2 clips together, put her in a porn. It's not her, it's them. Then later on, they were making, okay, March 3rd to 1st to 21, they were telling the neighbors, don't, they put 2 clips together, put her in a porn, it's not her, it's them. March 13, 21, I go to Altman Hospital. Some older lady said that she was Michelle's mother, and she's in there with fake FBI agents, and they let them in the back. I go to use the bathroom, and that weird Eric that made fun of everybody in 22 is still trying to pull a scam. The nurse is talking to him. I go back to my room. Security goes by, calls me bad names. I'm some idiot scamming them. Okay? I leave. I go over to My Community Health. Or not My Community Health, but I go over to Mercy Medical Hospital emergency room. March 13, 21. I tell him, I said my ex-husband tried to have me killed, and he has some drug dealers run a drug scam on me. If somebody calls, it's just a scam. I go in the back, and I could hear a lady outside. No man was ever to touch her. I could hear him talking. When the nurse came in to release me, there was a guy there, and she's talking to him. And she said, we found out the only thing they had on her was simply adjusting herself. The guy said, that's sick. I said, no, it's really funny. She simply wiped off water with clothes on. He said, that's sick. He said, no, it's funny. She simply brushed it off. They didn't have anything else. It's actually funny. Then later on, people are making up scenarios. Never happened. They said, you touched yourself, you exposed yourself, you touched yourself, look weird. That is not wiping off water with clothes on. And at first, I made my stomach blood for a couple days. I was so upset. And people were calling me names on a made-up scenario. And then I got to thinking, they're playing me. Literally playing me. What would you be doing? If you touch yourself, you expose yourself, you're undressing. You touch yourself, weird, but not weird. You could be putting yeast infection cream on. You could be getting undressed, getting in the shower, and washing yourself. And it almost sounds like showering. Where they had my apartment booked, I walked outside to smoke. People were outside laughing. She figured out what they did. May 12th, 22 at noon, they found a tape of them admitting a shower scene in the other room. May 26th, 22 at noon, an attorney ordered that shower scene photoshopped in the other room to make you look weird with yourself on purpose. Okay. They told Navarre, where I worked, the next door neighbor, the first day I worked there, someone called him and told him that Pete had ordered everything drugged, photoshopped, and made up on me. She talked to a lady from the FBI office in Canton in like February, March of 22. They admitted framing me March 24th, 22. Around March 20th or 24, I'm in Walmart 62 by the ladies' underwear aisle. They are laughing that they made up retired Judge Pete friends with Lodick. They made up everything on her to get away with this. It's in like February, March of 22 or 23 people that were part of the scam moved out of Louisville, told everybody to leave me alone, that they made everything up on me. November 18th, 22, Walmart 62. They said it was that one guy, Eric, that the Maslin police were looking for Stephen Eric stalking me. In October, November 21, and they didn't know who they were yet, and that nothing they had is admissible. Maslin police told people that. Okay, November 18th, 22, he came in, all the tapes before were me and not her. It was my idea to come up with it, my idea to do it, my idea to say it, for all these people turn on her and they fell for it. Well, it's only you, I could take care of it, I know it's that bad, and they still fell for it. June 7th, 23, Katie's sister Jody in Lighthouse and some of the drug dealers. FBI agent John fell for the stunt at tapes before. Oh, come on now, it was only a stunt. You're kidding. You mean that FBI agent fell for it? You mean John fell for it? You mean FBI agent John fell for the stunt at tapes before? Oh, come on now. It was only a stunt. That agent fell for that? Is that what's going on? And name and title and cackle and cackle. They saw videos of it. August of 23, on a Tuesday between noon and 1, Officer Mark told the lady it's documented and verified she was framed before. And it was a drug cartel in her home before. It's documented and verified it was a medication error that made her sick before, and another woman was using her insurance. This is a big scam. That's all it is. So a suggestion, Louisville, Altman, Stack here might want to watch the tapes when we go to leave. So that's why Danny and Jen on Christmas Eve of 22, when I asked them if they knew about button cameras, no. Did you know they were taping the bathroom? No. Did you know about a shower scene in the other room? They're laughing at me in stores. They photoshopped to make me look weird with myself? No. Did you know about all the orange, lemon, and grapefruit sized bruises I had all over me? I was almost passing out, including outside in front of the neighbor by the second weekend. It kept happening. Yeah, I remember that. Did you know they were they drugged me and told me to say word on molester stuff? And were beating on me under drugs? Did you know they were doing that to me? No. Just like I seen you like that, I didn't even think about it. I thought you were bruising too easy and working too hard. I didn't think of someone hurting you, and I seen you like that. Kids came out of the room and hugged me. Grandma, we didn't know. Kept going over and asking more questions. April 16th, 23. Seeing Danny and Jen walk across the parking lot to Gabe and Shay. He said, I finally went to Dad. Asked him what on earth is going on. He said he had hired some guy named Pete on his own. It was Pete and his men at her home before. Pete has her frame. Pete has her tape, a filthy, dirty statement. I've never met him. Some guy named Pete he hired. That's where the first of the case, a little white man came up to me. Forever I had a word you telling us, I'll turn it on you. I'm like, who are you? He said, you try to leave Dave Ellis, your child molester. He said, you know that bruise on your leg? It was the size of a lemon. I woke up with it and throwing up that morning. He said, I used sodium pentothal on you. You said you were wearing this one nightgown, bent over improperly once, accidentally seen your butt in a life of pain, and then threatens me again. I got away from him. Went to a legally bugged house. Dave verified I was dressed modestly. They only made fun of the back of my knees. I didn't even own that nightgown. That guy made all that up. But the ass was supposed to stab me in my sleep. Then I had other people showing up where he had bruises before throwing up, and infected. It was us. We were drugged and raping you. We had drugged you and told you to say this. We had drugged you and told you to say that. They raced people out of the room. We photoshopped all our lies. By January 19, it was effeminate wipey above the toilet in the other room. And then the rest was, in 21, was a shower scene. It's photoshopped. That's why nobody knew about it. Um, then May 25th, 21, 6 p.m., Wendy's in Louisville, the church people breaking in before drugging her, tell her say weirdo molester stuff. That's not funny. 8/9/21, the apartment building for me, second close to the fence. Lady and the little girls live there on North Chapel, in my apartment I had there. They were outside talk about being drugged and told to say it before. And uh 4 or 5 neighbors did a police report. 1295 Fairlawn, a little white lady, 21, they said something to her. She screamed at them, talked to several people in 21. At the Oakland apartment, December 9th, 21, 4 p.m. They told him all the tapes before were them and not me, and it's just a bunch of men doing crimes down here. December 9th, 21, white man bald with dark eyes distributing food at the Stark County Hunger Task Force on 9th Street. Was a guard during my case. It came out. We always knew the tapes before were them and not her, so we never said a word. January 1922, Department of Disability. They told them I was drugged and told to say it before. February 2nd, 22, Burlington Coat Factory. A Latino man admitted he drugged me first and told me to say it. August 4th, 25, they admitted to using hypnotic drugs on me when they drugged me and told me to say it before. August 5th, 25, as if Agent John didn't know, they used hypnotic drugs on her when they drugged her and told her to say it before. That's why she has no memory of these people and had a mental taste in her mouth. And he was telling people he knew she was being drugged, being raped before the case started, and he let them torture her. Is he some kind of coward? August 7th, 25, Walmart 62, they'd still have investigators that they got him taped admitting. Again, they drugged her and told her to say it before. And calling Agent John a coward. August 31st, 25, Summit Mall, Macy's upstairs. Men are on the phone. It is documented and verified. They used hypnotic drugs on her when they drugged her and told her to say it before. And she has no memory of those people. Nobody's allowed to say a word. Melissa's kids were taped on Thanksgiving of 18 that they wanted the house for Auntie Shaw and Papa. Then later on to Florida, they were making everything up. They were games of pretend. 2 guys that said they worked for the drug lord said that Melissa was going to help them get away with this by having the kids lie and then laughing and whispering to each other in front of the cops and feds. They followed around. They caught Melissa telling the kids a lie and then the kids stating they made everything up. I went to John on Thanksgiving of 18. I said, what's going on? He said, I don't know. I told Melissa, you're moving out, going through a divorce. And she'll have the kids make up something, but don't worry about it. Mom, nobody can say anything bad about you. It'll just be made up because of the divorce. She'll have her church people make up something too, but don't worry about it. Nobody can say anything about you. It'll just be made up because of the divorce. You shouldn't have said anything until it happened, but I did. And since nobody can say anything bad about you, don't worry about it. It'll just be made up because of the divorce. He asked me a year or 2 later to be a reliable name on a court record to watch his kids after Melissa snuck in his house after their divorce. He walks out of the bathroom, she lunges at him, and he startles him because he didn't know she was there, and he shoved her. Now I got you. Had him arrested. Domestic violence. That's not domestic violence. That is breaking and entering. He lost his kids for a year, and then he asked me if I'd be a reliable name on a court record to watch his kids. I couldn't help him. I was working 2 jobs. I didn't get off the first one, let alone the second one. I only made like $10 an hour on the second one. I kept apologizing. I can't help you. I won't be able to afford my apartment. But Mom, these are my kids. I'll lose them forever. I said, John, I'll lose my apartment. I won't have a place to live. I'm so sorry. I can't help you. I don't make enough. And he kept going on and begging me, please be that reliable name on that court record to pick him up. I can't. I'm so sorry. He moved away years ago to Florida. He met this other woman. He got married. They had a baby. And they started their own church. He's now a minister. I'm proud of him. They made up a lie that he was in it with them. He was not. July 26, 25, a couple had got smart with me and Bob Evans. I go over to Walmart 62. An investigator from 18 came in. Said I told that couple never to say a word to her again. I interviewed John years ago, 18. He said nothing bad ever happened to him, and her rest of her sons were speaking highly of her. That's where Officer Mark, right after Thanksgiving of 18, Melissa could go to jail for putting her involving herself in this. I'd hate to arrest her. Kids are little. Why don't we just write up her and the kids were showing off for David and his new girlfriend? The wrote up is documented in Games of Pretend. Other ones, Melissa's so stupid she made everything up when you were fishing with David. She's actually that stupid. She didn't check where you were. In June 23rd to July 4th of 21, Massillon police told Mount Carmel, Illinois, that their documented mean Games of Pretend she never hurt anyone. March 23rd, 23, agents come in. We yelled at these people. We told these people, stay out of it. She's never hurt anyone. Nobody's ever seen anything. And it's just some lady thinking that she can make money off of it. Flora ratted them out October 23rd, 2019. Of course, it never happened. Of course, it wasn't true. We made it up. They were Games of Pretend. Melissa's kids. October 5th, 21, they were talking about it at Huntington Bank in front of a client again about her and her kids lying. We go to leave. He said, who's that crazy Melissa? They all talk about lying everywhere we go. Like the ex-daughter-in-law friends with ex's girlfriend. Had the kids make up some mean Games of Pretend on Thanksgiving 18. He said, they're still talking about that girl lying. He said, is she crazy? I was like, yes. Down in Carrollton about a year ago, some of the cartel was telling people, did you hear about her ex-daughter-in-law, Melissa? What a loon. She went in it with her cheating ex-husband, hired a bunch of drug dealers to drug her up, tell her to say stuff, photoshopped and framed her, and had her beat and raped under drugs. All because her son divorced her. Who does that to somebody's mother just because their son divorces you? Make sure you don't say anything to her. What a loon that Melissa is. That's what the cartel was calling her. They're tired of her. January 12th, 22, Officer John stops men at the door while those kids get tape stating they made everything up. That's where Flora said, of course it never happened. Of course it wasn't true. We made it up. They were Games of Pretend. I would have spanked them all. The whole thing is just a scam when you realize that Dave's ex-girlfriend, where Pam and Anita were talking at Apostolic Church of Barberton, Mary's niece, Michelle, was willing to kill someone just to date Dave, an opportunity to do it. Dave was excited, never had anybody willing to kill someone just to date him. That poor family that's in that. Katie, that's her mom, and that's her mom's niece, Michelle, and Henry Moffey, that one guy, is her dad. They're trying to run a scam on the FBI. This was an attack against the FBI to steal money from them. That's what's going on. I'm going to upload this.